Well, we're back for another episode in the garage. My boring ass driving video didn't appeal to many of you guys, so we'll just keep doing what we do. So as I've alluded to in the past, I actually have a real job, and that real job is designing and manufacturing farm equipment. And because I need to maintain that real job for a while, I've been making a new prototype of a design that will be sold through another channel, a very widely known brand. I need to test it, and that testing is going to happen in northeast Kansas. And the reason we test there is because the fields are very undulating. They have these terraces. It makes the equipment, really puts the equipment through its paces. But I need to drive something down there. And so the question is, what would I drive? Well, this Volvo, we all know it's reliable because we just drove it to Boise, Idaho and back. But the problem is the seat is so uncomfortable for me to sit in, it literally damaged my back and nearly killed me. This Mercedes would be reliable enough, but I haven't started it yet. I haven't proven it out yet for the year, and it has some ball joint issues. It has a number of things that I want to correct before I really get that out there. This car needs love from me. I'm feeling this deep guilt in my soul that I haven't shown any attention to this car, and so I'm going to change that. You just be on the lookout for that. So here's what we're going to do. I could drive this van, which I very well might end up doing if things go badly today, because it's reliable. I've just changed the fluids. I think it's reliable. And I could sleep in it, but the downside is that it's very slow. This is kind of like a 65 mile an hour on the highway situation. And when you're driving a couple thousand miles, that is tough. So that really leaves me here. The BMW is in Milwaukee, it's safe in the garage, which I don't know quite yet that the BMW has proven itself. I still want to put new belts on it, some other things. That leaves me with the Saab, the white 86 car. But this thing has needed drive shafts for a very, very long time, okay? Very, very long time. It's a little clunky when I go around the right side. So I've had some stuff sitting here that I have to get done. I don't want to go on a long trip with it. You know, I've got these junky China junk track motive right here, which I am not going to put on the car. I might as well just put these in the recycling. They're not going to go on the car. I got a couple spare drive shafts here from Rose in Ithaca that I might just rebuild on the bench, then put them on the car. And I've got a bunch of parts sitting here, some wheel bearings, some boots. We've got more boots. We've got random parts I don't even know what they go to. We've got the valve cover gasket that I'm in denial about. We've got some, what do we have here from, these are the tri-lobe needle bearing piece. That's the essential piece that needs to get rebuilt here. You know, but this is kind of a big deal, and I don't know, you know, I have about, I believe, 24 hours to get this job done. Oh, look at that right there. The female mating component for those. Oh yeah. No, that's not the mating component. That's the other end of it. Beautiful. GCAN, great company, reputable company. These are the wheel bearings right here from Timken. Best bearings in the world. So what I'm going to do, a multi-pronged strategy. On the trip to Boise, I noticed some clunking in the rear end. And I believe that is related to these bushings in this upper link arm right here. And surprise, surprise, the guy, Eastern European guy that sold me the car on eBay just happened to send them along. So I've got some bushings here that I bet are going to solve my problem. So I'm going to try and get that done, get this car out so it's really tied up in a good position, because this Volvo might kind of go away into storage for a bit. Then we're going to bring in the Saab, take it apart and see if we can get those done. Get ready, let's go. I can tell that the undercoating is intact on here, so these have never been done. Let's think about this. Do I have this jacked in an unsafe way right now before I take this bolt out? Is the force on this going to cause the axle to rotate in a way? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna think about this before we do something unsafe, actually. Hold on. Okay, I think we've got it jacked safely now. You gotta, I'm gonna buy a lift. I can't go on like this. Okay, certainly came out easily. Okay, so this Volvo has these links right here, okay? And the links basically connect to the top of this axle and prevent it, you know, from rotating. If I go like this, you can see they're what keep the axle, make it a parallel linkage basically. And my thinking was that the clunking, when I go over a bump with this, was the byproduct of those. But they don't seem that bad. I was expecting to see something totally gone. They don't seem that bad. So now I'm a little bit confused. Let's look at this, whatever link they call that. It's at the diagonal linkage. Let's take that off and see what condition that's in. Well, I got the panhard rod off also, and I was expecting to see something in here that would tell me, hey, this is a smoking gun, and I don't see any of it. But because these nice new urethane bushings came with the car, I guess I'll put them in. And the bad thing is that if the clunking's not coming from here, where is it coming from? Because I've had a mind to also look up in here, but I don't really, you know, it should be done. I've got the parts to do it, but nothing here tells me like crisis problem, like clunk problem. So we're gonna do another favorite of white lithium Eurotrash. We're gonna do a non-fix fix. As in we're gonna fix something that's not broken and hope for the best, because maybe some other clues will reveal themselves. What I wish I was fixing is this leak right here, but I'm not, of course. Of course, instead of fixing something that's actually broken, I'm fixing something that's not broken. So that would be the way I live. That would be the way I do it. Okay. So I don't have the right tool to press these out, so I'm just going to make this tool really quickly. I'm sure I could have gone on the internet and bought a set of tools, but of course I didn't have a set of tools. And they got to be exactly right with this kind of bushing. So like everything having to do with suspension bushings, that ended up taking a lot longer than I thought it would take. So now we're finally on to the next step of maybe putting this thing back together. All for a non-fix fix. This is really kind of fiddly. Okay, one piece done. What a unbelievable chore. Look at these things. These better be worth it. These better really tighten up the ride. Okay. This was probably way more work than it's worth, but whatever, it's beautiful. Let's put them back on the car. Okay. Oh, that's not good. That's good. Not on here. Draw it in with that knot. Let's see here. All right. Okay, let's get the right tools for the job. See, the previous owner, the guy that sold it to me, had installed these brand new springs, and he just lost interest in the project, sent me along these urethane bushings. They've been sitting around for 2.5 years until I go on the road trip and I hear this clunking sound. Everybody on the internet says, oh, you got to replace the bushings on these trailing links. Well, get it apart, and as I showed you earlier, it didn't really seem like anything's wrong there. So who knows? Maybe we'll, you know, figure something else out. Let's take it for a drive though. Looks good. I mean, I'm happy to have it done and just to know that it's all in good shape back here, because it's kind of, you know, it's been a question mark for me for a while. Driving impressions. Since doing the urethane bushings on the rear end of this Volvo wagon, it does seem more controlled back there. It definitely, how do I describe the difference? It seems less harsh, which you wouldn't think would be the case going from rubber to urethane. I would expect it to be more harsh, but yeah, the rear suspension is clearly working better. Just gonna do some kind of, let's make an aggressive turn up here. Let's see what happens when I do a I'm gonna try and do a really fast turn to the right. I need a really big bump to go over. Here we go. Let's go really. Yeah, I mean, happy with the improvement. The sound that I got from the right rear when I went over a bump while doing that really hard right turn was vastly better. So I'm going to go ahead and actually call this an improvement, thus marking the end of another episode of White Lithium Euro Trash. Peace out.